So we have Natasha Wicks down the end here, and she is the principal at Caloundra High, and she's also part of this community. So if you're like, she looks so familiar, it's not because you know her from school. So we're going to hear from her in a few minutes. We're actually going to start up this end, so you can pass the mic to the next person. We have Alex Brain here, who is from Mountain Creek. He's the guidance officer at the school there. And if I get that definition wrong, you can explain that when it's your turn to speak. And then we have the one and only Stu Cran here, chaplain at Mountain Creek. And then we have the truly one and only Tania Edwards. Okay, so today is Chappy Sunday. Again, a tradition that's kicked off here at Goodlife. It's going to spread around the world. And feel free to spread it around the world, especially around our country. If you don't know, in Australia we have the amazing opportunity to have chaplains in our schools, and they do an extraordinary work. And our biggest school right near us is Mountain Creek High School. And one of the challenges we have with chaplaincy is that we don't have enough funds to be able to fund it to the level that it needs. And secondly, its impact is really significant, as you're about to hear in the coming minutes. And so we decided last year, let's get behind these guys. Let's create Chappy Sunday. We're going to have a bake-off. This is a church service. So if this morning on the way into church, you stole... Let me rephrase that. You took a cake or something very sweet out there and you just assumed because it's church that it's free, then you need to go back and make a large donation to make up for the error of your ways. That will help us. But outside, we have a whole bunch of people who have made beautiful sweets and cakes, and we'd love you to check that out and donate. And we'll tell you also how you can give towards this mission in a few minutes. But we're going to start off down this end with Tania. If you could tell us a little bit about, first of all, what do you actually do as a chaplain? But tell us about the impact and a bit of your story as it relates to chaplaincy at Mountain Creek.
Okay. We do a wide range of different things, and every day kind of looks a lot different to the last day. Some of the things we do is pastoral care, so that's one-on-one support. That's a lot of what I do personally. I run 2 creative wellbeing classes during the week for some Year 7 girls and some Year 8 girls. I'm involved in things like, we're both involved in things like Mental Health Week when things like that come up. We run camps, we do the Trek program, a lot of other different things. So there's a wide variety of different things that we get amongst. And I think, I know at Mountain Creek High School, our school is really, really big on wellbeing. So even our principal, he has wellbeing as the focus and the number 1 on his flow chart. So from that, everything else flows. I guess when students are well in their being, then they're better learners, really. And
Yeah, that's amazing. You want to tell us, now we've got some slides, I don't know if you or Stu are going to be referring to these, but tell us a little bit about some of the amazing stories and experiences being a chaplain.
So first of all, I'll tell you just one that sort of sticks out, particularly for me. A few years ago, they've graduated now, a girl came in to see me and she was shaking. And she often come to see me on a Friday, just shaking and in tears, and then it became every last session. So the way we communicated was through art, because sometimes when you don't have the words, art speaks. So we started doing collages and stuff like that together, and this girl was addicted to drugs, and it was quite a sad story. As we got to know each other really, really well, she then asked me if her friends could come down. So then her friends all started coming down, and we ended up doing a group on a Friday, and just through the collages and things like that, I got to know all of them really well, and they all had the same struggles. And then I talked to them individually about what's going on. So one of the words that this particular girl put down on her page one day was dignity. She'd ripped it out of a magazine, and she said, "Tania, I don't know what this means, but I know this is what I want. This is what I really, really need." So from that birthed conversations about self-respect, what that looks like, just what it means to be a woman of worth, And so that sort of started unraveling. Then the girls all started making these clay bracelets, and they would put on their bracelets, what would Tania do? WWTD. So every time they went out on the weekends, they would wear these bracelets, and they said it sort of held me close to them, but it also was a reminder to each other about the choices they were making at the time. And so it was really, really special. These girls are really, really special to me. They had a real special place in my heart. So after that, what birthed for me was I started doing creative wellness cards. So I've got a pack of creative mindfulness cards, breathing techniques, and values cards, and they're all from the words that these girls have written on their pages. So that's sort of birthed a new thing for me personally. When they graduated, I just had that sense like I've spoken to these girls the whole time, like I've journeyed through some really, really difficult pain with them. And they'd even invited some boys along as well, but I didn't see any change in their behaviours. And even though that all happened, I was really burdened by that. But then last Christmas, Lee and I were walking through the Christmas lights and we ran into them. And Lee said to me, like, for that moment, the whole street stopped because the joy of the hearts and us connecting again, there were screams, there was like so much hugs, and the girls told Lee about, oh, Tania, like we would not have graduated without her. We would not have done this without her. And they just were like this and this and this. And it was just so special because sometimes I think we need to realise that we're laying foundations. We're just laying those foundations that they go back to. So now we're sort of communicating a little bit again now, but now they're like at uni studying to be teachers. They're thriving. They're getting, Employer of the Week. They're like, it's just so amazing the foundations that were laid in those points, and now they're thriving. They're not where they were. So, so that's, makes it worth it for me.
Even if we didn't hear anyone else on the panel, you realise the power of this role in a school, and to be one of those students to have a Tania in their life, what a gift. Thank you. Can you talk us through a couple of the images?
Yeah, sure. The first one is... this is Stu and I.
He doesn't look like a student. Did that guy need a lot of help?
That's our school. So that's Mountain Creek High School. 2,250 students, roughly. Yeah.
Can you say that again? How many students?
I think it's around 2,250 at the moment. Yeah,
wow.
Close to that. This is one of the events I know that we've been trying. We've been trying to get into our school for a few years, and JC Action Sports. So, as you can see there's year 8 and 9s together. There's about 800 students there, and it had been raining for 5 days at that point, and it was loud and chaotic, but it was really fun. So it was, another part of what chaplaincy
was
can
that
do.
Stu doing that stunt?
Is
that you, Stu?
Stu would like to be that person.
The things you do as a chaplain, wow, amazing.
This is from the Life Church crew, the young adults there. They come and cook pancakes for us every Wednesday. They're at school by 6:30, even earlier. And this particular day was State of Origin and Mental Health Week, so they were doing some blue and different colours. This is just Mental Health Week. This is what we were a big part of that. This is one of the surf wellbeing camps. Stu runs one for boys and myself for girls. So this is sunrise one morning. This is sunset at the Blow. One of the things that we do there is we have supper up there, or we have dinner up there. We take like a picnic dinner, and then we lie under the stars and talk about cultures, like where are we from, what's our culture, what's our background. It's like the heart of the camp. It's really special.
So good. Thank you so much. Can we put our hand together for Tania? Stu,
Mike.
you're not just a BMX stunt artist.
It wasn't actually me doing that at all. But Josh, the guy who runs JC Action, Christian guy, he was doing it, and he's almost my age. He must have a massive stretching routine that he does every day. I don't know how he does it. It's incredible.
Tell us a bit about chaplaincy and some stories of your experience.
Yeah, Tania's told you a bit of what we do. Just to add a few things there. Pastoral care, we call it first-based care, so we don't do counselling with students. We just got too many that we're available to.
We're just going to swap mics for a second, sorry.
I think you're fine. We don't need to swap you.
This is why he makes a good chaplain, because he's got good dad jokes.
It's actually one of the reasons why I stay at Chaplains, because he is service life and yeah, so half our time is first-based pastoral care, but sometimes that's ongoing. So we might have 1 or 2 conversations with a student. It's not very rare that we will have that ongoing support right the way through high school. So we do build significant relationships with some students from grade 7 right the way through. We had the privilege of being involved in leadership camp. I'm actually running the senior leadership camp the next couple of days. Tania and I have been doing the junior leaders training for our year 8s and 9s over the last, we started that probably 18 years ago, which is so much fun. They're great kids. We're a part of the school community, do you know? And I think one of the differences for us is that as we're chaplains, we're known to be people of faith. We're known as Christians. And that's a part of our role. And that's accepted in the school. And in fact, we have a lot of favour in the school. This is coming up to almost 20 years. So there is a lot of favour, and we really feel that and really appreciate that. Alex is my senior guidance officer, worked alongside us for a number of years, so I appreciate him being here. Mike said, Stu, can you tell us a story that captures the significance of chaplaincy? I've been racking my brain. I've got hundreds of stories. I'm not sure which one to tell. I could go the really significant story of a boy who I connected with when he was in grade 10. He had significant depression and very suicidal. In fact, he attempted a number of times. And I just walked this journey with him. Got him involved in our Trek program. When he was going for his license, his family context didn't allow him to get the hours up. So with his dad's approval and the school's approval, I actually took him driving in my car to get hours up. I taught him how to drive as well. He didn't have a good relationship at home. And so we spent a lot of time conversing and talking about life and just walking that journey. And then when he left school, he actually started a nursing course, and now he's a qualified nurse. And I actually had the privilege of getting a text message from him a couple of weeks ago, just saying, thanks, which is lovely because you don't often get that. So it's actually a really nice thing to have someone make contact and say thanks for all you've done for me. But thank you. There's another story I want to tell really quickly, because some people think chaplains have their hands tied when it comes to Christian faith and the gospel and talking about God and working in that realm. We actually don't. We're not tied. It does come down to the principle of each individual school. They have all authority. But at our school, we got a lot of favour in that space. So we're not allowed to proselytise, which means we're not allowed to coerce or manipulate or force a change of belief. But we can evangelise, because evangelise is simply sharing the good news. And if a student wants to know that, if they ask questions about that in conversation, we can answer questions, do you know? And I had this one boy that I connected with when he was in grade 8. His family had moved from London. His dad was a top-level Indian chef. They're an Indian family. Very mediocre, but anyway, they moved to Australia and Dad had to go back to London for a bit. And this boy was in tears. He came up to see me when I first met him and he was in tears. And basically what he was struggling with was having to be the man of the house. Dad wasn't around and I've got to look after Mum and my younger siblings. So we talked that through. And so I had many, many conversations with this boy, because he had to honour his grandma. He had a very long ponytail. Couldn't cut his hair till he was an adult. So he used to get bullied for that as well. So walking the journey with him. And he, not a kid of faith. His family weren't spiritual at all, really. This one morning, I knew he was coming in to see me, and one of my prayer supporters sent me a text message and said, Stu, I was praying for you this morning, and God gave me a vision that you would be meeting with someone today. And the vision was this stream of water, living water is what she said, coming down from God through you to a student today. And I'm like, that's awesome, thank you. I think I know who the boy might be. Anyway, he came in and I met with him and I just felt prompted to say, hey, can I pray for you? And he sort of went, what's that? What do I have to do? I said, you don't have to do anything. As long as you're okay with it, you can say no. He said, no, that'll be okay. Anyway, so I prayed for him. And when I opened my eyes, he was crying. And I'm like, oh no, did I upset you? He said, no, I've never felt such peace before in my life. Now that wasn't me. I've had students say I've got a nice sounding voice, but I don't think it's because of my voice. I think it's because of that vision. I think God was doing that, and we're just partners with the Spirit of God in what we do in loving and working with kids. The interesting thing is he graduated, went through a really hard time post-school in terms of drugs and party stuff. And I've just heard this year that he's made a commitment to be a Christian. He's following Jesus and really involved in the local church and doing Christian youth work. So again, it's a sort of thing where we just do what we do and trust that the Spirit of God does the rest, So, yeah.
Wow. Stu, thank you, because 18 years has it been? This year, 19 years as a chaplain. There's something incredibly powerful about longevity, consistency, seeing generations of school students come through, and we just want to thank you and honour you for your service in that. So, thank you. Alex Brain, I know your mum. Your mum is part of our community here, one of our missionaries that we support, Roz, and so it's a great privilege to meet you today. Tell us a little bit about your role, and also tell us about what you've seen as the impact of chaplaincy in your school at Mountain Creek.
Sure thing, thanks Mike. So I'm not a senior guidance officer in this role. It's lovely, but I'm not that old yet, maybe. But yes, so I'm just in a slightly different role at the moment, but I've been at Mountain Creek for almost 15 years. And so I was lucky enough to, be deployed or drop into Mountain Creek, and Stu was there. And I was very new in my role and learning, what that role entails. And having Stu there beside me was just, I guess, a really incredible blessing to be able to learn so much from him and the way that he works. He's got a very rich history of working with young people, so it was really powerful for me to be able to work alongside him in that space. And so and then Tania has come along more recently, I think 7 years ago, yep. And so Tanya's come along as well. She's got a really amazing background too. So we've got two really incredible resources, I suppose, if we want to frame them that way, in our school. And there's a really powerful impact that they have. And we're not talking about people that just go around chatting with kids. They're doing a lot of that, but there's a lot that goes along behind the scenes. There's incredible connection they're having with the staff at the school. They're very well known with lots of different staff members, and they've had a really powerful influence on our administration. So everything that they're doing at the school goes through the administration team. The pancake breakfast, the Trek programs, the mentoring, all those things go through our administration team, and they have such a powerful impact on our principals, our deputy principals, and they do it with such professionalism, and they do it so well that the reputation of chaplaincy has just only continued to grow at the school. And because they've got that strong platform of support from our school administration team, it just really enhances the impact they get to have on the 2,200 students that we have at the school. So, there's a lot behind that. There's certainly you guys and the support that you provide for these chaplains sits behind that. You're part of that journey that these guys are on, but it's just such a powerful position that these guys get to be in, and they're the right people for that role. The opportunities that are put in front of them, Tania with the girls that she connects with, the beautiful art that comes out of her office. We've had postcards being given to our staff in the school of art that Tania's put together. And Stu's pastoral, the amazing pastoral care that Stu has. He's often talking on parades, connecting with young people around it's just, these guys are an amazing resource at our school. And our student services team, which is a couple of guidance officers, Stu and Tania, we've got a youth health nurse. Our student services team is, I guess it's the envy of the Sunshine Coast region, because there's such great experience with the chappies here, and long-serving chaplains. And so, yeah, our school, or Mountain Creek, is, we've got the best student services on the Sunshine Coast. Thanks to you guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex. It's great to get that perspective, and I really appreciate you being here this morning. Natasha Wicks is the principal at Caloundra High School, and I don't know if you're going to compete with what we just heard then, but would love to just hear your perspective as principal of a school on the value and the benefit of chaplains and what maybe some of your own experience has been.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'd like to start with is schools today are more complex than they've ever been before. We know that the young people, as they walk through our gates each and every day, are not just bringing with them their lunchbox and their books on their backpack, they're carrying the weight of so much more. And in particular, since COVID, we're seeing a lot of our students come with high levels of anxiety. They're dealing with all the pressures of social media. They're dealing now with generative AI issues. They're dealing with dysfunctional and broken relationships and families. And they're also dealing, in many cases, especially some of our older students in our schools, the pressures of supporting their families in the cost of living crisis. So with all of this weight, they come in, they're expected to sit down in their classrooms and learn English, maths and all the things they do. So we've talked about already the support of a student services team. A school cannot function without a strong student services team. At Mountain Creek, as I said, and in most schools, we've got guidance officers, chaplains, school nurse, and all the people they've just mentioned. But what people don't realise is that the great work they do so much, and there's such a few resource. Like we're talking, one of the things that, contrary to popular belief, is that many of our schools only are funded to support 2 or 3 guidance officers per a school of 2,200 students. What also is unfortunate is we only get support and funding for chaplains to the tune of 1.5 days per school. Now, we need to support our chaplains so that we can have this service in our schools full-time and 2 full-time and even more full-time support services, because the harsh reality is that the demand for our student services and our support is greater than our capacity to deliver support. And one of the things that we do, and the benefit from all of these people in our schools, is that they plant seeds. They connect with kids. They allow our students and have someone to come to that can see them for who they are. They can hear them, listen to their stories, and encourage them and give them hope. Because it's that hope that gets them through to walk through the next day at the school and the next day, and as you heard Tania say, hopefully keep coming until eventually they graduate. And so I cannot, support the chaplaincy program enough in not just Mountain Creek but all schools, because it's a great need, because our students need it. It's pretty tough being a kid these days, and any support we can offer to give these young people what they need and to be able to have that support when they need it is so critical in our society.
Wow. If you were going to encourage these, this is a spontaneous question. If you were going to encourage Stu and Tania, what would you want them to know?
What you do makes a difference. I think, and I cannot stress enough, I've been fortunate to have 2 students myself go through Mountain Creek, so I have an affiliation with Mountain Creek. But often it's not what, it may be the programs, it may be all of these things that they've just mentioned, but it could simply just be a kind word, a stop, actually taking time for that moment of conversation to see and hear a young person so they know they have value in this world. And as I said, the difference may be not necessarily seen or heard during their time at school, but as you can see, that seed has planted, and with the right watering, with the right connections, it will grow. And hopefully these people will come back, like some of them have, to be able to say thank you for the work that they have done. And even if they don't, knowing out there that hopefully the next person in their journey will plant the next bit or water the next bit so that they'll eventually get where they need to go.
Thank you so much. I'm just wondering if Stu or Tania, our hope as a church is that we can support you guys financially. I hope that you feel our love, encouragement and support. I know a lot of people really believe in this, and a lot of our young people from Goodlife are a part of your school, and they see what you guys do. And I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of our community for what you do. And I'd love it if you could just share with our community how we can support you, what that would look like in very practical terms.
I mean, we both feel very loved and supported here in this community. I want to say thank you for that. Many of you would know that I went through some surgery last year, had a couple of bouts of cancer, and the words of support, encouragement, how you going, we're praying for you, all that sort of stuff is quite overwhelming. So thank you so much for that. The finances is the rude reality of it. Tania and I are 4 days each, so that's 8 days chaplaincy service at Mountain Creek. This time last year, we were on the verge of having to stop working. Our bank account was almost empty. And so I came to Mike and initially I said, Mike, any chance of getting some money through the church budget? Like, is that possible, or just knocking on doors? And he said, no, actually not, but we'll give you a focus, a Sunday. And so I think last year someone paid $200 for a cheesecake or something. Like, that's pretty incredible. I think the price has gone up a little bit. They're amazing cakes. But also we just asked people if you would consider just being a part of our support team. And we've had a number of people last year. Someone gave us $5,000. We had a couple of people give us $10,000 one-off gifts, which was awesome because it filled up the gap for us. And our PNC came to the party, and this is a real statement because not every PNC supports their chaplain. But we had a gap at the end of the year of about $30,000, and they actually, as a one-off, put that in for us because the principal said, we want you here. We don't want you to stop being here. So that was amazing. But what's really beneficial for us is if we had a whole bunch of people just giving $5 a week, like that small amount locked in as an automatic giving thing. You don't have to think about it. And then it helps us plan and budget. We can see we've got this much coming in every month. We can sort of hopefully rely on that being the case into the future. And it really helps us manage that side of things. I mean, the big one-offs are awesome. But usually those big one-offs, we've sort of got to come back cap in hand and say, can we have another one of those? Whereas if it's a little bit given, so if you're thinking, well, I can give $1,000, could you break that up into monthly amounts and just do that as an automatic thing? That would really, really help us. We've also got a prayer email that we do up and send out. When I first started, it was a weekly thing. That doesn't happen weekly anymore. We try and get it done monthly or thereabouts, so you're not going to get inundated. But outside on the table, beside the cakes, we've got a little sign-up sheet. If you would like to be on our prayer list, I'll just add your name to the email. I'm not going to call you at 1 o'clock in the morning. Would love you to do that. And if you want to know more about how to do the support, you can give that through Goodlife, the website there, but there's also a little QR code I can email you if you would like that. So if you tick that, I want to support, then I'll get in contact with that little QR code to make sure the donation comes to our school. But thank you.
So good.
Sorry, really quickly, I know that our student services team and our admin team are very aware of the support that we have here at Goodlife. And I know Ruth, I ring her a lot and just say, I've got students that need meals. And I remember one particular week, I think Goodlife supplied like 14 meals within like a week to families that were really struggling. So it doesn't just stop at the school gate, it sort of bubbles over into our communities and families. So, thank you.
That's so good.
I actually have teachers at school come to me, and these are not Christian teachers at all, but they come and say, I've got this student who doesn't have any friends or he's struggling with home life. Do you think the church might be able to reach out to him? Do you think they might plug into youth group? So there's a real perspective of favour towards Goodlife as well. You know, we've been dripping that over the years.
Yeah.
We often drop the name. You know, local churches, local youth groups, Life Church come in and do pancake breakfast for us, and they're such a good witness in that space. Yeah.
It's really good. Thank you so much. We're going to pop up a QR code up on the screen here, which you can use. This one actually links to our giving page, and if you go to our Goodlife giving page, you can click on the link that says to the chaplains for Mountain Creek, and you can set up a recurring gift for the next 50 years. And so that'd be cool, wouldn't it? But you can set that up, and again, those small amounts consistently make a huge difference, and you know everyone can probably do something with that. So I'd encourage you just to take some action, set a reminder in your phone, because lots of times what happens, we hear this, we go, "That's so good," and then next year we go, "I totally forgot to do that last year." So if you set a little reminder, then you can go, "Cool, set that up this afternoon," and that would be amazing and would bless these guys. I'm wondering if we can stand together, and we're going to pray for them. I'll get everyone to stand. I want us to pray for the ministry. I want us to pray for Natasha and what she does, leading the school that she does. A principal's role is a massive challenge. Alex, your role at the school here, critically important. So grateful that we have the support services that we do in our schools and in our country. And obviously for Stu and Tania, we're so blessed to be able to not only do church life and community together, but to have you guys really blessing our school, which is the mission of our church. We talk all the time about the fact that people matter. It's a simple phrase, but powerful when you actually live that out. And these guys are actually living that out. And so we're really grateful for you. So let's pray for them today. Lord, I want to thank you for Tania. I thank you for Stu, their incredible work over so many years. 7+ years for Tania, 18 years for Stu. Lord, would you refresh them? Would you give them fresh vision, courage, strength, wisdom for every student interaction? May they demonstrate and share your amazing love, that every student is precious, that their life matters, that there is hope, that they can experience dignity, that they can know that they have a future and a hope, and that there are people that care about them and want to hear their stories and journey with them. And so, Lord, would you be with them? Would you strengthen them? And may they be surrounded not only with financial provision so that this work can continue, but with encouragement and prayer, we pray. Lord, for Alex and his role at Mountain Creek, I pray that you would give him wisdom and strength. We thank you for so many people in our schools around our whole region who do this work, an incredibly important job. We thank you for him and what he shared today. And for Natasha, Lord, thank you for her role as principal at Caloundra High. Lord, may she have the wisdom, the courage, and the faith to just continually love, serve, and lead in the way that Jesus invites us to. That servant-hearted, sacrificial love. Lord, I've already heard so many times people who have made so many comments about her leadership, and I pray that you would continue to bless her and help her be an incredible blessing in that school environment. We thank you for every one of them in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Can we give our guests and our friends here today a huge hand? Thank you so much.